Please don't focus on the precise figures. Instead, pay attention to the big picture and the logic behind the numbers. That is also the case with all of my charts and analyses. For instance, you might mention that it's less than 64. You also mentioned that being a support line, it couldn't go below 64. No, it could be down there, but I doubt it will remain for very long. As a whole, we observe that the 5-month period is higher than the 2-year period and the realized price. When markets are doing well, that holds true as well. The Bitcoin stock-to-flow models developer, Plan B, recently released a video in which he expressed an extremely bullish view of Bitcoin's future price movement and the factors driving it. Periodic drops below support levels like the $1.64,000 mark shouldn't worry issuers too much because these downturns are usually short-lived. If the 5-month realized price is continually higher than the 2-year realized price and the overall realized price indicating a solid positive tendency despite short-term swings, then it is the most important signal to watch during bull markets, according to Plan B. Meanwhile, crypto adventure market analysts are projecting that Bitcoin and Ethereum could have a prosperous July, taking into account both past data and the current state of the market. July has traditionally been a very good month for Bitcoin with a median return of 99.6%. This is a strong recovery from June, when the price typically fell by 8%. According to these patterns in history, Bitcoin could see an upsurge in July after falling nearly 10% in June. The recent narrowing in trade volumes from $1.90 billion in May to $1.75 billion in June is viewed as a promising precursor to a resurgence of market activity in the months ahead, especially for Bitcoin. As June came to an end, Bitcoin was just over 62,000. For the past few months, the market has been stagnant at 60,000 and 70,000, plus it won't move until we figure out where to point it. Therefore, the price of Bitcoin always starts to move following a halving, but it lags behind the model value. Just a few months following the halving and another 12 to 18 months until the price reaches the stock-to-flow model estimates. My recommendation is that we should simply practice patience. I realize it's not easy, but it's our only option. Hold on a second. The following chart is in red. The market is still in a bullish phase, even though it may seem otherwise. All of those numbers are on chain. Everything is normal. We ought to be present. If we got green or yellow, which is obviously not going to happen, I would be quite concerned. Nobody here has it. The color is crimson. You're looking at a bull market. That is reassuring to me. RSI, I find that intriguing. You could say it leveled off between 60 and 70, or it dropped somewhat. This is now 65 years old. There were 69 people. Plus, there are many who believe the bull market has ended. And I must say, their logic is really captivating. Bitcoin has declining returns, so the thinking goes. Thus, the tops and bottoms both decrease with each cycle. Another thing that stands out in this RSI chart is the trend of declining returns. Discontinuous benefits do not hold water with me in exponential returns. I have faith, however, even those who believe the market's bull run has ended perceive a leveling off. Consequently, they believe that the Bitcoin markets are returning to a more typical trading range. Accordingly, 30 to 70 is the typical trading range for the RSI. Therefore, the range for equities in the foreign currency markets, for instance, is 30 to 70. Accordingly, Bitcoin's value has increased slightly. In order for you to view this, the Bitcoin market is expected to normalize at a peak of around 70, followed by a steeper bear market into the 30 range. I can see where you're coming from, the bear market rationale, but I just don't see it happening. I predict that the relative strength index RSI will rise above 80 once more, and that this time there will be exponential growth rather than declining returns, such as in the years 2013, 2017, and 2021. We will closely monitor the RSI to see what happens next, but for now it is intriguing. The 200-week moving average is the following chart. 4 years is about right, therefore we use the average price of Bitcoin for the past 4 years. The 200-week moving average has never fallen but has steadily risen, so there's really nothing out of the ordinary going on here. The black line represents this. It's currently at 37 and is rising. At the end of June, the realized price was 31. 2 years from now, it will be 48,000, and in 5 months from now, it will be 65. The 5-month realized price of Bitcoin is thus somewhat below current levels. Moreover, during bull markets, this pale blue line, the 5-month realized price, has consistently provided support. This line is so rarely crossed by Bitcoin. It remains true to that line, in fact. For the past few months, it has remained unchanged as well. At the moment, it is really intriguing to see Bitcoin sitting at that light blue line or just below it. I anticipate a price increase from this 5-month real-life level. However, we would prefer not to descend. Our attention is also focused on this. Plus, forget about the precise figures and focus more on the overarching trend and logic underlying those figures are more important. That is also the case with all of my charts and analyses. You could, for instance, mention that it's less than 64. As a support line, you said it couldn't fall lower than 64. No, it could be down there, but I doubt it will remain for very long. We observe a pattern where the 5-month period is higher than the 2-year period in the realized price. When markets are doing well, that holds true as well. By the end of a bear market, the 5-month realized price will have fallen below both the 2-year and realized prices. It occurred with each bear market. Therefore, we are interested in these signals, these broad trends, and it makes little difference whether this figure is on the line, slightly off the line, or 1,000 points higher or lower. Thus, everything appears to be normal at the moment. From that 65,000, I anticipate a bounce, but time will tell. June saw a 13% return for realized return sellers. That may not seem like much, but it's an improvement over 2017. Just like at the beginning of the 2017 bull market, you had some green, some red, and some orange. In this case, I would be concerned about the color blue. Wouldn't you agree? If we were to discuss this overarching goal and the logic behind the figures, the color blue would make me nervous. Everything from green to orange to yellow is consistent with what has happened throughout history. Making money using Bitcoin is the same. We can compare that to, maybe 2013 when 90% of the planet was making money at the level of the previous peak. There was a lot of yellow, orange, and red at the beginning of the bull market. And it's there again. With some reluctance, the market is obviously looking for guidance. It is my sincere wish that it will be guided in that direction at the soonest opportunity. We must act.